Hello, welcome to WeLearn Virtual Learning Network. We are going to study BCS 55 Business Communication. This is Block 2, Session 3, Phone and Walk-in Interviews. So, let's start with the topics to be covered during this session. First, we will talk about interview, then reading comprehension 1 and 2, then speaking, writing, and in vocabulary we will cover walk-in interviews, and while discussing the grammar portion we will cover a, and the articles. So first we are going to start this session with interview. So the very first question is, what is interview? Interview is finding out the right candidate at a right time at a right place with right skill set. That means a candidate which is suitable for the job and the company. So let's discuss about the phone interviews, walk-in and phone interviews. So first we will discuss phone interviews. These are increasingly used in mass hiring. The interview is conducted entirely on the call. Phone interview is the need of the modern time. So first of all, we will discuss how to prepare yourself for phone interview. Phone interview is used to narrow a field of candidates. The candidate should focus on the conversation and listen to questions carefully before answering. The most important thing is prepare yourself for phone interview. That means you must have the information that you are going to face a phone interview. So just prepare your resume, read it twice and search for the company, and also prepare some questions that could be asked during that interview. And the most important thing is, on a call, that means during the telephonic interview, your voice will become your face. That means try to modulate your voice. Next is walk-in interview. A walk-in interview is a job screening that happens without an appointment or scheduled meeting. It is more common for walk-in interviews to serve as initial screenings. It, as the name suggests, that means walk-in interviews, as the name suggests, bypass all the steps involved between the advertisement and the interview. Employers think about who they like the best from the initial meetings, and then they invite their top candidates in for more interviews. The employer advertised the situation vacant, asking the candidates just to walk in for interview on a specific date and time. For instance, one may ask the candidates to walk in with their applications or CV that we discussed in the previous session on a particular day at a specified time. Let's say Monday on 6th September between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. All the candidates who report at the time may be interviewed the same day. Now, I am going to read a comprehension passage for you in which we will also discuss something more about the walk-in interviews. So, as I already discussed in the previous slide while discussing the walk-in interviews, it is bypass all. That means the candidate who passed all the steps involved between the advertisement and the interview, who will be appear for this walk-in. The employer advertises the situation vacant, asking the candidates to come and face the interview. That means they will give you a specific date and time to come. After this, let us think of some of the reasons for asking candidates to come for a walk-in interview. There can be many reasons for an employer for taking this shortcut. The employer may be a small businessman who does not have the secretary staff necessary to handle the paperwork involved in this process, or we can say involved in this long recruitment process. So he may be the sole person to make a decision about the selection, that means about the recruitment and selection, and does not need a panel of experts to help him here. So another reason could be that the vacancy is for a short period of time and they don't want to invest much time and money on it. We also find that some jobs require a candidate having a good personality and presentable figure, and in such cases, the employers may ask candidates to come for a walk-in interview to judge for themselves the suitability of the candidates for the job. However, walk-in interviews are like any other face-to-face interview, and you will require the same set of skills and documents to face it. Now, one more reading comprehension for your practice. It will give you some more information about your interview, but about your telephonic interview. So, let's start reading it. What must you do if you are to face a phone interview? You have to take certain steps to ensure that it protects smoothly. First, note down carefully the date and time, the telephone call, and the name of the interviewer. That means who is going to call you. Make sure that the date and time given are of your country or a foreign country. Maybe you applied in any other country, their time and date is different from yours. If it is a foreign country, then ask for their local time as well, as this might be different. Second thing, before the call comes through, make sure to secure the room. That means select a separate place for yourself where no one will be there to disturb you during the call. Secure a room where the call is to be taken. It should be free from disturbance and distractions such as noisy fans or AC or any other cell phone. Then, when the call comes, use the techniques of telephonic conversation that I already suggested you. Greet and identify yourself clearly and accurately. Your voice is your face. That means try to modulate your voice. Try to give pressure on the keywords. For an example, if you are going to give your name, then say, my name is Anjana Iyer. Not my name is Anjana Iyer. My name is Anjana Iyer. So, greet and identify yourself and ask who is calling. Then listen carefully and speak clearly at a reasonable speed. Take turns, know when to speak and when to stop and listen. Next, you should ensure that your ideas are well organized. This is all the more essential in case of a telephonic interview. Star structure that we discussed in session number 2 as a way of organizing your thought to achieve local development of ideas. But there are other different ways of organizing our ideas depending upon the topic and what we want to achieve and who our audience is. Next, during the speaking topic, I have planned one activity for you. And what is that activity? Pick up a job advertisement relating to your field of study, or we can say interest. Imagine that you have been called by the advertiser for a job interview. Now make a list of at least 3 questions, and in fact not 3, minimum of 5 questions that you could ask at the interview. So try to attempt this activity. Next is, in case of being called for an interview for the position of relationship manager at a private bank, the 3 questions that could be asked are, let's see, I have prepared a list of 3 questions for your help. And the questions are, what is the job profile like? Second, what is expected out of me in this job? And the third is, does this job require a lot of traveling? Next is writing. I have planned one more activity for you under this topic, and the activity is, some people believe in working for a company for a long time, while others believe in changing jobs quite frequently. Discuss both the advantages and disadvantages for it. That means a person who wants to work for a long time in a company, who wants to spend his important years of life in a single company, and a person who wants to switch his or her job frequently. Now see, the new age employee is a firm believer in the maxima that variety is the spice of life. This explains the increasing trend of job hopping at the high attrition rates that companies are witnessing today. We find that it is often in the public sector or government offices that people still prefer to work long term, but that is not the case with private companies and MNCs. A person is interested to work for a longer period of time in government offices because their jobs are secured. But in private companies, their job is not secured, so just because of a good hike, they frequently change their jobs. Youngsters today are on the looking out for better exposure and better paybacks and perks. There is also job security factor that color the choices that employee makes that I already told you. Now we are moving towards vocabulary walk-in interviews. So here is the vocabulary. See, like achieved, administered, assisted, conducted, constructed, coordinated, demonstrated, designed. We use these words very frequently during the interview or while searching for a good job, like generated, recruited, selected, interviewed, negotiated, staffed, trained, tested, separated, maintained, or supervised, established, programmed, published, guided, organized, generated, researched, informed, launched, and you can say ensured. Now, moving towards the grammar portion, during this grammar portion, we will cover articles, definite and indefinite. As we all know, there are two types of articles, definite and indefinite. A and an are indefinite articles, and article the is the only definite article. So first we will start with the use of a and an. We use a and an only with a singular noun or a noun phrase. The noun in the noun phrase can be counted. For an example, a synopsis, two synopses, a process, two processes, a candidate, two candidates. A and an is not used before uncountable nouns like money, gold, sugar, milk, honey. However, we can count water and sugar by using appropriate countable nouns before them. Let's see the example, like a glass of water, a bottle of honey, a bag of sugar, a spoonful of sugar. A and an is not used before a proper noun also, like Delhi. There is no need to use any article before the name of the Delhi. You can use only Delhi, only India, Kashmir, only Kashmir. No article is needed over there. A is used before a singular countable nouns or noun phrases beginning with consonant or consonant sounds. Please consider the most important thing is consonant sounds. Consonant sounds are the sounds other than the vowel sound, and our vowels are A, E, I, O, U. That means other than these sounds, all the other 21 sounds are consonant sounds. Now see the example, like a day, a fan, a table, a pen, a telephone, a whiteboard, a mobile phone. Next, an is used before the countable nouns or noun phrases beginning with the vowel sounds. That means the sounds of A, E, I, O, U. Example, an apple, an eagle, an ice cream, an umbrella. Now, we will define the use of the definite article the. The most common use of article the is to refer to a person, thing, or event that has been mentioned once. For an example, once upon a time there was a king. Now see in the next line. The king was famous for his kindness. Now that means we are talking about the same person, the same king that we discussed in the previous line. Next, the is used to refer to the thing which is unique. That is, things of which there is only one in the universe. Like the sun, the moon, the Jupiter, the earth. Next is, we use the before the countable nouns when we wish to refer to the whole system. For example, we invented the computer. The is used before the nationality too, like the British, the French, the Americans, the Japanese. The is sometimes used with the adjectives without there being a noun. That means a noun or a word that represents its whole cast, the poor, the rich, the old. The is used before the regions, islands, oceans, newspaper. The main thing is the name. A name should be there, like the Middle East, the Andaman Nicobar Island, the Atlantic Ocean. Name of the newspaper, like the Times of India. Name of the river, the Nile. Name of the mountain, the Himalayas, the Nilgiris. Name of the dam, the Bhakra Dam. In superlative constructions also, the most intelligent boy, the best girl, the fastest. Next is no article. We do not use an article with certain types of nouns such as school before the name of any school, hospital, university, abstract noun, countable noun in a general sense, any church before the name of any church. You can see some examples like just remember the name of your school. St. Thomas School. No article was there. If we talk about the countable noun in a general sense, you can say children are playing, not a, not an, not the. In fact, before the name of any language or meal also, either it is Hindi or English or German or French, no need to use any article. Before the name of any meal, like breakfast is ready, not the breakfast is ready. Before abstract nouns like friendship, love, life, death. Before the name of the university, just remember the name of the university, you can say Delhi University. Not any article is there. Before the name of any hospital, like Max Hospital, Apollo Hospital, no article is required there. I hope the session must be clear in your mind. Now I have prepared one exercise for you. Try to do it. It is for your practice. Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.